The plenary session for me today was for me to share real life experiences and tragic events where data sharing and information between trusted partners could have saved the lives of individuals. The one key message for me is to develop the will to share data and information, and you can only do that by developing trusted and professional relationships with partners that you work with either in a geographical space or professional space.
My contribution really was around making some observations on the scenarios that had just been presented from a data protection point of view or from an Information Commissioner's Office point of view, really, the things that jumped out at me. I came up with 4 key messages, should have been 3, but I sneaked an extra one in on the end. And the first of those was really around being prepared, making sure that you have your sharing agreements, your processes agreed and sorted out up front, and that staff know about them. So they're trained, they're aware, and the process can hopefully run smoothly as much as it can. The second key tip that I had was for individuals not to leave their brains at home, basically. Bring your common sense with you. Make sure that you actually think about the issues. You bring your professional judgment to the issues as well. Data protection is a funny beast. It'll only take you so far in terms of what you can sort out in the black and the white. There's an area in the middle where you actually do need to use your common sense, your professional judgment. The third key tip from our perspective is to watch out for the unintentional sharing. In other words, watch out for the security side of things. There are so many risks in terms of how you share information, how you get it from one person or one organisation to the other. And that's the area where, as a regulator, we have taken a lot of action. We've had to, because data has gone missing, it's been lost, it's been left behind. That's the, just watch out for the unintentional side of things where we all do stupid things, leave it behind, whatever. The fourth point that I wanted to make, the fourth key tip really, is around making sure that you know a man who can. In other words, you've got your support there. You've got a network, or you know who to go to for support. So whether it's your organisation's data protection officer or a WASPI facilitator or the WASPI team or our office, we give a lot of advice. Make sure you know who to go to when you need advice on something.
The plenary session for me today was around highlighting where systemic failure is caused due to people not sharing information readily between organisations and within organisations. The one key message for me is that we need to have a dialogue sooner rather than later about the appropriate data that we collect. We collect too much, and how we rationalise the number of databases and systems that exist in Wales.
Well, the purpose of our workshop was really to look at how the Data Protection Act applies to sharing of people's personal information. So we had a little look at what the Data Protection Act has to say, what its key purpose is in terms of balancing the needs of organisations in society to use people's personal data and the rights of the individual to have privacy. And we then looked at how the 8 principles that are set out in the Act give you a framework through which it's really important that you think about any proposals to share data. So it gives you a lens to assess plans for data sharing through. I think the key message from ICO's perspective is that data sharing, when it's been well thought out, is almost always going to be possible. Where organisations get into trouble is when they haven't spent the time to plan the data sharing properly and to work out their legal basis and to work out how to do it within the requirements of the Data Protection Act. So really we'd say to people, be clear about why you want to share data, what exactly do you need to share, and what's your legal basis for doing the sharing.
So my workshop was talking about the Probable Partnership, and we are a consortium of 9 different charities in North Wales, and so I was talking about the complexities, the challenges and some of the successes we've had in sharing that information and the importance of sharing that information to enable service provision for the clients that we support and to make sure that it was a seamless transition of care between agencies and between services. I think the key message for me would be, don't be afraid to share. information. I think as practitioners we can often get very scared that we're going to get complaints in about us, that we're going to breach the Data Protection Act, that we're going to end up bringing the company into disrepute, and people get really scared of sharing. But don't be afraid to share, because it is massively important to individuals. They don't want to repeat their information again and again and again. So it's beneficial to clients for us to share, and it's beneficial to agencies. It improves our service provision, and it's, you know, it's a really, really important thing to do.
The workshop that I did for you today was about sharing information across geographical borders and how that can benefit individuals, organisations and members of the community. I think the key message that I want people to take away is talk to each other. Never be afraid to pick up the phone and talk to a colleague in another organisation. If you have a problem, a query, there will always be someone in that organisation that will help you. We've all been there before. You are never alone.